What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. It's been raining the past few days, and today's the first day that I actually have some good weather to work on the WRX. So today is going to be part 2 of getting the WRX smog.
The goal today is to make the WRX look as stock as possible.
And to fix a couple things that are really noticeable, like the up pipe.
So this is all the stuff that I plan on swapping back onto the car. I went ahead and picked up a stock snorkel and intake. The reason for that is because the AVCS solenoid is right down in here and the intake is going to be going right here. So the goal with that is to fill the space up just so it's not as easy to see that.
When they're smogging your car, they're not going to be taking anything apart. They just use a flashlight and look around and make sure everything looks stock.
So with the intake right here and the snorkel coming around right over here, it should block it on that side and shouldn't really be able to see it. I'm also going to be doing a dummy wire. I'll take the AVCS wire from the JDM wiring harness and I'll wrap it up in here and then plug it in, because the first thing that he noticed last time was that this thing was unplugged. And on the driver's side, the AVCS solenoid, it's definitely a little harder to see because it's up behind all this wiring, but this is where the washer fluid tank goes, so I'm going to be throwing that back in here, then I'll be doing the same thing with the wiring on that side. I know in the last video I mentioned replacing hoses because a lot of them were really cracked and I had to replace one with an oversized hose. So I went ahead and purchased some silicone hoses. I wanted to do all black, but with one of the size hoses they didn't have any black, and they were telling me that it was going to take like 2 months before they got any in. So I went ahead and just okayed blue.
I'm a pretty aesthetic person. I like things to look uniform, and I really like the clean look of black. So that might bother me down the line, but we'll see. I may or may not end up swapping it out. But for now, it'll do the job, and it's really high quality silicone hoses. But I just couldn't really wait 2 months to get the hose because a lot of them are in pretty bad shape. So hopefully today we'll be able to get everything swapped on and get it into the smog shop. If not, we'll take it first thing in the morning. But I'm gonna go ahead and start tackling this and getting this all done. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is start with the up pipe.
Swapping in this JDM up pipe, which is actually, in fact, catless. It's straight through. Can't really see in there, but it has the heat shields and looks OEM, so it should pass. Unfortunately, I do have to take off the downpipe,
which isn't super hard, but it is kind of a little time consuming. So I'm gonna start with that, and then we'll move to doing everything on top of the engine once that's all done.
Slowly drifting by, all the poems I wrote for you, they made me blind, they made me lie. Heard you in the rain, will you always be there? Last thing you
It's a new day, guys. My mic ended up dying, and so I went ahead and bought a new one, and it finally came. So now I can go ahead and get some more progress done on the car. I was able to get the JDM up pipe in, and the down pipe and everything is hooked back up. So now all I need to do is get this intake off, which is pretty involved. It always looks super daunting because there's so many things attached, like the coolant reservoir and all these wirings and stuff. But it's not as bad as it looks. It's actually pretty easy. It's just a little time consuming. So I'm going to go ahead and start tackling that right now. Once I get that off, I can change out the TGV valves and then replace some of the hoses. I'm not going to do all of them right now, just a few of them that are like really bad.
always be there. The last thing you said. Sorry if it's too late.
Alright guys, so I have the intake manifold right here. These are the old TGV valves. The first thing I need to do is clean these up. They're a little dirty on the inside. And then we'll go ahead and take the JDM TGV valves off the manifold and swap the old ones back on. And then, because of all the coolant lines off the manifold, there's some coolant sitting in spots on the block. So I want to go ahead and clean all that off. And then we'll be able to throw it back on and get everything hooked back up, and then throw the OEM intake on, and then we should be good to go. I'll go ahead and have to mess with the ECU again. I'll undo the TGV code fix, and then just do the force readiness, and then we should be good to go to take it to the smog shop. So the engine bay is completely put back together, and I already checked all the fluids, the coolant, the oil, and everything is good to go. And it's actually looking really nice right now, and it looks like a full engine bay again. So hopefully this time it'll actually smog and they won't notice that it's a JDM engine instead of a US engine. Now the only thing left to do is to start it up and see if it runs, which, I mean, it should, but you never know. Well guys, it runs. It's running really nice. It did have a small coolant leak, which ended up just being the top radiator hose mount. I just didn't have it tightened down all the way, which was my bad, but I went through everything else and everything seems to be really good. So I just took it on a small little drive just down the driveway and back, and it's doing really well. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning, and we'll go ahead and try and get this thing smogged again. Well guys, it ended up taking pretty much all day. I had time to even get a haircut, but we finally got the WRX smogged. I'm super excited to be able to start getting some mods done to the WRX. Basically all the smog places were packed. No one had any availability. All the appointments were full. I ended up actually taking it to a speedy close to my house, which I've never been to before. And it was a pretty long wait time, but I mean, it was worth it. It passed, we got it done. They didn't have any problems with it, so now we're legal. I have a lot of parts already that are ready to go on the car, and I have a lot more planned. So I'm just ready to see this car transform, and I'm ready to actually be able to start driving it and enjoying the car, because I mean, that's why we build cars. But that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're interested to see where the WRX goes and how it transforms, go ahead and subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram. But until next one, take it easy, guys.